This is Portside Perspectives, exploring the yacht economy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Portside Perspectives. And today I'm speaking with Mark Edwards. He's a yacht broker with Cape Yachts and part of the South Wharf Yacht Group. Good day, Mark. How are you doing today? And welcome.
I'm doing great, Jason. Thank you, and very nice to meet you today.
Awesome. So the thing I start off with for everybody that comes on is I like to know about what your background is and where you come from. How did you get into this world? You know, give us your origin story and we'll try on the details a little bit because it seems to be the more fun part of this podcast.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I was born and raised in Providence, Rhode Island, and summered in a big, beautiful Victorian house down in a town called Westport, Massachusetts, which is coastal community southeast of Massachusetts. So very, very nice area. And it was there that I learned to sail as a boy at the age of 7. When my parents realized I was really taking to it, they bought a small sailboat that was unique to that area that we were learning on. And then eventually grew out of that onto a river and ocean sailing where you have currents and sandbars and all the hazards of that. And we sailed then, and I still sail today, that same boat they built when I was 12, which was a 12-foot Beetlecat. It's a wood boat, gaff rigged, classic boat for sailing in the shoal waters of New England. And I still race that today with my daughter. She comes down and leaves her husband behind. And
that's cool. I like hearing that.
Yeah, we get to hang out. So that's still a part of my life. And I did continue to race extensively, offshore racing and one design class racing. And sail transatlantic. So I have a lot of sailing experience, including Bermuda races and all of that. But the first go of getting into the business of boating came between high school and college when I took a year off. And I was hired by Pearson Yachts, the original Pearson Yachts, that was then a part of Grumman Allied, to work in the mold room as a laminator. So I was trained as a laminator, and I still do that today. I make small boats in my basement.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, wood boats with fiberglass over, so you don't see the glass. You bury the glass in epoxy and then varnish over that, and varnish over that, and varnish over that. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. It keeps me busy just for my own personal projects. But after college, back into boat building, on the floor, punching in. Mechanic's apprentice, so I did every manner of job, including grinding fiberglass, installing keels on Alden 44s, doing engine installs, mounting a lot of refrigeration and running wires, although I'm not an electrician, just running the wire. So a lot to do with boat building for many, many, many years, and eventually worked up through into mid-level customer service and quality control work for the big boat division of Tillotson and Pearson. We built Alden yachts and Freedom yachts and Fails, and then ultimately service manager for Everett Pearson, who's well known in the industry at Tillotson and Pearson, and then eventually back with Legacy and Freedom yachts. In due course, that was about 28 years of my life. After enough of that, I was getting ready to move on, and somebody said, "Well, you should try boat sales." I said, "Well, I don't want to be a salesman." But he said, "No, it's fine. You can be the salesman you want to be." So I did. I sold factory direct.
It's funny, just to interrupt you just for a second. I've talked to a few people that have kind of said the same thing. They've kind of had someone tell them, you should go be a yacht broker or sell boats. And they always say, I don't want to be a salesman. But sorry, it's just funny how stories kind of overlap. Everybody kind of seems to go through a very similar path, right?
Well, yeah, and it's understandable, until you know what selling boats is about. You have this impression of, like a used car salesperson, which
right?
Is probably not fair to used car salespersons. So my experience with that so far has been fine, also. But anyway, long story short, I did get into sales, but different from a lot of people. It was working in the manufacturing environment. We sold factory direct. So we were our own project managers at that time, and we were building semi-custom boats. So there was a lot to that, and my experience building boats set me up well for that role. And I continued to do that for Freedom and Legacy Yachts initially, and then later back to Pearson Composites with the True North brand and the Alerion Express brand, involved with those factory direct. And joining this company, leaving the manufacturing environment in 2008, I joined Cape Yachts, and I've been here since then.
So how long has it been you've been with Cape Yachts then total?
I've been here over 17 years now. I'm in my 18th year with Cape Yachts, so that's a good run.
Yeah, I would say. And an extensive career leading up to that as well. So awesome.
Yeah, this is a great environment here. I live in town, so that's convenient. We have a beautiful historic boatyard, which is just a super beautiful place to work every day. I've got all the technicians and all the support that's here in case I have a question or one of my clients needs something from me. And we represent some of the best brands that you can represent in the world, including the biggest boat builder of all, Beneteau. It's the biggest boat builder in the world, to my knowledge. And we represent the sail and power of all the different types that Beneteau sells. We also represent one of the top U.S. builders in MJM. That's Mary Johnstone's motor yacht, and that's initiated by the Johnstone family. Now run down in a beautiful facility in Washington, North Carolina. And that's fun because of the technology they bring to bear on their production floor. It's just remarkable what they do, and happy to chat with you about that as a fiberglass guy.
Why don't we start with kind of Cape Yachts first, and just kind of give me a rundown of, what are your experiences with them, and give us a little bit more about the company and your experience there and what they do. I mean, we can go, you mentioned it already, that you have a marina, you have a boatyard, you have service and maintenance, you have, it seems to be a full spread over there. Before we started recording, you even mentioned that there is a very, very small aspect of some small vessel rentals. Is that what, did I understand that right when you explained that?
Yes, we don't sell the small wellcraft, but we do use center console wellcrafts in a fleet in our boatyard called Naughty Jane's Rentals. And so that's an outlet for area people who want to take friends out and about in these beautiful waters of southeastern Massachusetts, but don't want the ownership responsibilities.
Right. So why don't let's chat about just Cape Yachts then, and your position there. You're a broker with them.
Yes, I'm a certified professional yacht broker. It's a designation used in this industry, CPYB. So that's significant because it establishes a well-disciplined best business practices and has a strict code of ethics. So that's what people get when they work with me personally. And as a company, we're members of YABO, which is Yacht Broker Association of America. That also has a strict code of ethics and best business practices. And we use YABO forms and keep the business, all on the up and up, so people can be confident in our being able to transact these really high value boats. And they're not inexpensive product by any means.
So what's the range of, I mean, you said I'll just let you describe, what is the range of vessels that you guys are dealing in? Is everything from small boats all the way up to some super yachts? Kind of give us a sense of what you guys are involved in.
Sure. Well, a lot of that starts with the group Beneteau. It's the biggest boat builder in the world, and we represent sailboats and power boats for Beneteau. And that takes us all the way from the small first series, 18 to 24 feet. I have an order for a 24 first right now that's in process. So you're looking at boats from essentially $100,000 to the Grand Trawler 63, which is going to be somewhere about $3.5 million. So there is kind of a broad spectrum of what we do here. And it's great to have that opportunity as a sailor to be able to continue to be involved with sailors in sailboat purchases, but also as a powerboater and involved with those people. So that's really lucky to have that on-site inventory. We carry boats in stock, and then to be able to order boats that we don't have in stock is great. And in addition to the Beneteau product, we also represent a very high-end U.S. builder, MJM, which is a company down in Washington, North Carolina now. They were built originally in Boston, the Boston Boat Works, and are now all in a much bigger facility in Washington, North Carolina. And those go from anywhere from right now new, anywhere from $1 million to $2.5 million, depending on what you order and how you order it.
Right.
So we also represent Jupiter, which is a high-end center console. So fishing boat, but also a go to the beach with your family boat. So it's a multi-purpose and also well respected and handles our choppy water Buzzards Bay really well. And True
I'm
North.
actually on your guys' website here right now, just kind of checking out the list of all of the different manufacturers that you guys represent. And it's a beautiful website, by the way. It's laid out very nicely. And just so everybody knows, it's capeyachts.com, correct?
Yes, CapeYachts.com. The boatyard is southwharf.com, and both are really marvelous. We're lucky to have, in addition to all the benefits I have with the boatyard and the service team and the customer service people and the parts department and all that, we also have a 3-person marketing team. It's not common in a company this size to have that much focus on marketing, but the company president believes in that, and that gives us a larger exposure to the general boat buying public and boat using public than we might have otherwise in a smaller company.
Right. So seeing as though you brought marketing up, you have a dedicated marketing team. You said there's 3 people in that team?
Yes.
And are you aware of the things that they're doing within? Because as I talk to people more, their marketing strategy varies depending on who they are, what they're doing, what they're dealing with, their location. You've been in this game for quite a while now. You, I assume, are probably leaning a whole lot more onto personal relationships and, shaking hands and kissing babies sort of marketing, face-to-face relationships and that sort of thing. It's kind of what I find from the older generation that's into brokering and all of that, whereas the younger guys that are coming in and breaking into being young brokers, they're leaning more on the technology end of things and social media. So can you give me a sense of what you're doing and maybe what your marketing team is doing to adjust to new technologies? And are you still leaning on, like I said, just shaking hands and walking around the marina?
Yeah, well, you're right on as far as the reference to relationship building. We're in a relationship business. People are not going to buy a boat from a broker that they don't trust or they don't like. So that's a non-starter. You have to be agreeable and social and be able to get along with folks and be trustworthy and credible about your credibility statements, which with my experience, I find is very helpful to go into that a little bit early on with clients. But yeah, we sort of divide up the efforts. The younger brokers we have here are more technologically savvy than I am. I'm kind of the old dog here. It's a role I actually enjoy, being that old guy and not having to be tied into every last technology. Everybody here is conscious about the relationship building, and so that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. And that's done by phone, it's done by email, it's done by text, it's done by personal meetings. That's the goal, is personal meetings, one-on-one. We go to boat shows and meet people that way. And the marketing is connected to us. It's not like one goes one direction, the other goes the other direction. We're all going in the same direction,
right?
Which is to help clients with their boat purchase needs and boat service needs.
Right. Were you down at the Fort Lauderdale boat show?
Yes, I came back from that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So And I worked. We had four of us all together down there representing the Beneteau product, which includes Wellcraft and Four Winds as well as the Beneteau. And also we were there to represent the Jupiter and MJM. So
How was the show? Did you have a good time? Did you enjoy it down there?
it's always enjoyable to get out of New England in the late fall or mid fall. It's 80 degrees in Fort Lauderdale, it's
Yeah.
sunny. So no problem for me. And it's always interesting to walk around the show a little bit and
Busy. I'm sure it's still work. I mean, you're still working. It's still busy. But yeah, I imagine it's probably a little bit nicer in Florida than it is up north.
yeah, no, it's definitely work. But we're in an environment that makes that work pretty pleasurable.
Right. Cool. Oh,
I was just going to say about the marketing department. So we're very active with all manner of marketing exposure, including digital, email programs, of course, social marketing, all of the different sites that you might be there with Instagram and everything else. Some that I don't participate in, but most I do. And that's a coordinated effort. So it's not just done in a vacuum. So the new boats are a primary focus, but also the brokerage used boats get that attention as well. So really, really good to have that team helping us through that.
sorry, I was just muting myself because my dog is deciding to let everybody know that he's here right now. So that's cool. I mean, I imagine that marketing team is probably more knowledgeable about this. And it's something I kind of ask because it's something I'm into myself personally. And it's just, I like talking about things that are interesting to me. The advent of AI and how it's affecting the world and changing the way things are doing. I mean, I assume that, like you've mentioned, you've already said you're not so into the technologies that have come about nowadays. I'm going to assume you're probably not taking a whole lot of advantage of AI in what you're doing. But I assume that your marketing department probably is.
Yeah, they are. And also my colleagues are as well, even right down to helping them write emails sometimes or boat listings or that kind of thing. They'll check AI all the time.
Yeah.
References, different questions come up, they'll get an AI response to that. I'm a little slow on that, so I'm not really doing that very much personally.
Okay. All right. So why don't we kind of shift over then a little bit to the second part of the business to be the marina and so you have your marina. You also have the boatyard. Um, is there much for us to get into there? I think I'm more interested to know a little bit about the whole thing about the service and um, like did you mention that you guys are doing manufacturing as well?
No, I've been in manufacturing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wrote down a note here, and it must have been it was your story in manufacturing. I apologize. So
So
let's talk
yeah,
about then the marina and the service and maintenance that you guys offer as well.
yeah, absolutely. This is a beautiful historic site. The boatyard goes back to the 1830s. It's only had two owners in all of that time. So the Holland family had it, and then it was back in days when they were servicing and maybe even building whaling ships and small ships here and servicing their fleet. And then Dave Nolan, the company president of Cape Yachts and South Wharf Yacht Yard, and his group was able to buy the yard in 2006. So up until that point, it had been owned by the Holland family. It had been leased for 50 years or so to a group called Concordia Yachts, which is a famous yacht brand. And they ran this boatyard as Concordia Marine. But that now has changed, and it's for the last 20 years been under Cape Yachts. So that's and South Wharf. It's a full service yard. It's not a big yard geographically. I think we have about 70 or 80 slips. We do not manage moorings, although there are a lot of moorings in the harbor, which do bring in service work for us as well. But the slips are great. They're highly desirable. This is really a boutique yard. We've got a staff that's on seasonally from May till end of October. Who run down, help you with lines, help you off the dock, get ice, we call them the red shirts. They're very helpful and very friendly to be. And this is a walking town. People like to be here because the village of Padenham in South Dartmouth, which is a really lovely spot, is highly desirable. And we're close to different cruising grounds. So for us, you can go west to Newport is about 25 to 30 miles, depending on where you're going in Newport. Block Island, which is a great destination off the coast of Rhode Island, is about 40 miles. But going the other way, we're right across from the Elizabeth Islands. Cuttyhunk is a famous port of call for everybody. It's got a beautiful inner harbor. And then more widely known will be Martha's Vineyard, of course, is well known. Nantucket is another a bit more offshore from Martha's Vineyard, but right there. And Cape Cod, that's all within just several hours sail from where we are. And Buzzards Bay itself has a number of ports. And you can go to Boston. You can be in Boston on a sailboat. You can get to Boston in one day, but on a powerboat, you can leave here at 7 o'clock and easily be in Boston for lunch.
Right.
So it's got a lot of benefits to be in this area.
Is your marina typically like all the slips filled, or do you kind of have some turnover in there? What's the space look like in there? Have you got room for people to move in if they were so inclined?
We're pretty full, to be truthful with you, but we do like to make room for people when we can. And some people will sell a boat, and then that'll make room for another one. So there is a little bit of that. We also like to keep slips open for transient customers. We're on Dockwah at the boatyard, so that's a slip service that's available online, and our yard subscribes to that. So that's a way for people to get in, and we find that kind of transient customer is really good because they pass the word about how nice this boatyard is, how nice the area is to come in and be part of. So.
Right. And as far as like the service aspect of things, is it full service? Like, what's the extent of the services that you guys offer to boat owners for maintenance and repairs and things like that? What's the extent of that?
Yeah, it's really not limited, truthfully. We've taken in some boats that were badly damaged on local rocks. So new shaft, new transmission for the boat, a new strut, fiberglass work, structural fiberglass work. We have a travel lift, so we can pick up a pretty good sized boat, and we can set it in the yard and get work on it. We have an indoor storage space where if it needs to really extensive work, we can bring it indoors to a heated space that's here on property, different from the building we put up a remote from here. Mm-hmm. And that gives us plenty of space to work on it. So if you have an engine problem, diesel or gas or outboard, we can do it. We had a trade-in here last year in which we put 2 brand new remanufactured Merc cruisers in it. So we can go right to that level. And sailboats, paint and finish job. We don't actually have a spray booth, so we don't paint whole boats, but we have a very good finish guy who can do very good touch-up work and also structural Velcro work.
Right.
But we commission the new boats, so that's all from start to finish. The boats come to us not fully assembled from their factories. And so we mount the hard tops over the trawlers, and we have to do all of the electronics calibrations and paint the bottoms and barrier coat the bottom before the paint, et cetera, et cetera. So there's really nothing we can't do here.
Cool. Well, it's good for people to know as well.
A lot of people, for instance, are putting in Starlink right now. That's a very common option, and custom canvas work. That's something we have access to. So
cool. So do you do your own sales, or you kind of subcontract that from an outside source?
You mean sales for like sailboats?
Yeah, I thought that's kind of what you were. Oh, maybe I suppose you might have been mentioning canvas for some other purpose.
Oh, Yeah, canvas like Dodger, Bimini,
Okay, sorry.
but also that's a sub. We don't do that in-house. And there's also for sales and other things we'll bring in.
Okay.
There are people who specialize in that.
All right. So, I guess the next question I have for you is being in this as long as you have, you've probably seen a few shifts and changes in the industry and the market. Talking to several other people, I'm getting the answer that, COVID kind of forced sales to kind of shoot up, and then afterwards it's kind of dropped off. And now people are saying that we're kind of back to where it roughly should be right now. So you've been around for a little bit. Maybe tell me what you saw in the past to where things are now as far as the market and sales or rentals or whatever from your own experience.
Yeah, that's a great question. COVID definitely gave us all a twist in how we were doing our business, both from a service standpoint. That was very interesting. We can talk about that, but also from a sales standpoint. So we for a brief period of time closed the yard entirely. No owners, no workers, no salespeople. We just shut down. And what I found working from home worked just fine. I was as busy as I wanted to be. And actually through COVID, that only got stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where we basically, and this is true industry-wide, I believe, boats, new and used boats sold out, virtually sold out. I mean, it was the busiest sales market I think most of us have ever seen. And that was great, but that represented some challenges itself. When you're dealing with people who are not experienced boaters, who maybe haven't owned a boat before, but with COVID, you're not going to see grandma in Indiana. You're not going to Europe for the tour. Kids aren't going to camp. It's like, all right, what are we going to do? And you're going to get a boat or an RV or something like that. So it was more of a responsibility for us as yacht brokers to coach the less informed boat buyers about the fact that it's not just buying the boat, this a price point that you can afford. It's also finding a place to put it. Talk about insurance, which may be difficult for you if you haven't owned a boat before. They may put some restrictions on you, like you might need a captain for a little bit of time until they can sign you off and that kind of stuff. So anyway, COVID did introduce a lot of challenges for us like that. A lot of people thought that very quickly after those people bought boats, they would realize what a responsibility it is and the costs involved with it and sell it right away. And there's been a little bit of that, but that did not become a widespread issue as a lot of people thought, at least in my experience. Most of the people I sold boats to still have them. So that I think is good. And I think that's a tribute to the fact that as a company, we were taking the time to make sure that people really understood the whole nature of boating and boat ownership.
Right. And I have heard from other brokers that they were in an opposite. They did feel the spring back, I guess, the people that got into the boats during that time and then realized this costs a lot more than I was expecting. There's maybe some things I wasn't prepared for when I got into this. And they did see a lot of boats come back and get sold again. But that is kind of the trend that I'm seeing across the board, is that sales definitely spiked up during that time. And then now we've kind of come back to this place of where things should be, or maybe you're on your way there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, there is I wanted to say something before I forget it too, about
sure.
The service component of COVID.
Right. Yes. Yeah. You said there was some challenges with that.
Well, there were some challenges there because obviously we needed to take care of the health of our technicians. We couldn't have them, getting or giving COVID to the group. So we had some very specific work requirements, and it was one person to a boat, wipe everything down as you come and go. masks up all the time. I mean, we were getting a lot of work done. The guys wanted to be here, but we did have to work under some pretty strict guidelines. So, and that worked out very well. I think we got through COVID as well as anybody could possibly. So that was good.
And so where do you see things then now, like with the market now and how things are going? Are you seeing a downtrend, or was it going down and now it's kind of coming back up? Kind of give me a sense of the last year or two, what you've seen in sales and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's really a maddening business in some ways because it's so unpredictable. There's an ebb and a flow to the business, and what I find to some extent is you as a broker, you want that to be a straight line up. Doesn't have to be that big, high a line, but it should be up. You don't want it to be up and down. But the reality is that as you are selling boats, you get involved with the transaction of that. Has a lot to do with that. So you start doing all of the prospecting and the follow-up that you need to do to keep people in the pipeline of your sales pipeline, if you will. And so you sell some boats, you're spiked up, and then there's a downturn because now you didn't do that follow-up. Now you get those transactions happen, and now you're back into the follow-up again. And so you come to the bottom of that and you start climbing again, and some of those people buy again. And so you have this parabolic curve, if you will, of highs and lows. But we're pretty steady, truthfully. And what I do find is that there are some other factors beyond our own ability to follow up with clients, and that is environmental. This is a little bit seasonal. We're in New England. It gets cold here in the winter, and boats get covered with shrink wrap and snow on the ground, and it gets a little harder to sell the romance of a nice warm sunny day when it's 20 degrees out and you're crawling around under a shrink wrap cover. So, but we do it. It's a 12-month-a-year business, and the other aspect of the business is just in terms of economic. I think there are some economic, sometimes political influences that affect people's focus on a boat and buying a boat, and those are also part and parcel of this parabolic curve, this up and down nature of the business. But just personally, I was super busy in the winter last year and in the spring, very, very, very busy. But then in the summer, not surprisingly, in the summer that got a little quieter, just because in New England, pretty much everybody who wanted a boat for this season got it and had it. And then that starts to get busy in the fall again when people are starting to think ahead towards the 2026 season. And they remember, that they didn't like this or that about their current boat, and they decide to make a move up. So the fall is pretty busy again.
And you get a lot of return clients then as well?
Yes, we have a lot of return clients. We've got some that we've sold 3 or 4 boats to over the course of time. And that's always very rewarding as well.
Here's a question I tend to ask brokers specifically. Being that the internet has begun to open the world up, and it's actually created more millionaires and billionaires than ever before, just the nature of what it is and the opportunities that it opens up for people all over the world. Are you personally noticing more people buying boats in general, or larger boats? And if so, are you finding that there's a lot more, or maybe you're just finding that there's a lot more younger people getting into it, or is it something completely different? You're not seeing any of that at all?
That's a tough question to answer. I would tell you that over time, my units sold, that is the number of boats I've actually sold, if you combine the new and the used boat market together, has remained remarkably strong and remarkably consistent year in, year out. A couple of years is a little better, like COVID was a noticeable spike up. But for the most part, that my personal numbers have remained very, very consistent.
Did you notice any change in the demographics then of the type of people that were buying vessels?
A little bit. Some of the people that I had sold boats 2 years ago are aging out. Some of the new people are younger. I think there's a high level of affluence. You know, we live in an affluent area here near Cape Cod and Boston. There's in Providence is and also a very strong boating environment for this area too. So that's all very helpful.
Right. I'm getting mixed answers on that question from the people who I have asked it to, specifically brokers, like I said, because I think location definitely ties into that question specifically. And I'm getting mixed answers because some people are saying, yes, there are more younger people coming in with, lots of money that normally they wouldn't have at that age. But also, hearing that more of these younger people in certain places are leaning more towards renting because that's just their mindset. The younger generations are now rent everything, whether that means their home or their car or a yacht or whatever that might be. They're just in the mindset of I hate saying this term, but you owning nothing and being happy, right? But do you see any of that at all, or kind of just I don't know, you tell me.
Well, we have great opportunities for using boats without owning them. So we, as I said, we have our little boating rental fleet here. That's a small thing. But in Boston, for instance, and in Rhode Island, you've got a number of companies who have programs where you become a member of that and then have access to their boats. I sell a lot of boats to people who've been a part of those programs for years, who have decided that they really do like sailing. They want to have their own boat and have the flexibility to come and go and, on a Friday night, come down on their boat and have a cocktail and go on a cruise without having to schedule that around other club users.
Right.
Yeah. So I sell a lot of boats to people who did rent. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are renting still who just don't want to do boat ownership. So we'll have both of that.
Yeah. Okay.
But one of the things I was going to say about the age and the demographics question specifically is it's a little bit of a moving target because I've been in this a long time. And at one time, I was a young yacht broker and everybody seemed older to me. So I would have said, yeah, no, the demographic is older. And truthfully, now that I'm the age I am, everybody seems a little younger than I remember. So
that's fair. All right. Just a couple last quick questions here, and then I won't take up any more of your time today. Are there any specific challenges that you face in your job and what you're doing, where you're doing it? Specifically, like, well, you tell me. I mean, the largest challenges that you're facing in being in yacht sales where you are.
Well, one of the things I find in this internet environment and AI environment and all of that is people are really, really well informed. So when I get a call from somebody, I need to assume that they have been all over YouTube. They've been all over the internet. They've read every article. They've read every review. They, in many cases, will know the product better than I do because, we represent so many different boats. I don't commit all of that to memory. I just don't have the bandwidth in my head for that. So so that's a little bit of a challenge. I have to be resourceful in having my information readily at hand to be able to keep up with that sometimes.
Well, thank God for the internet with all that information in our pockets, right?
Well, thankfully, my experience both as a user, racing extensively, sailing transatlantic, doing those Newport Bermuda and Marin Bermuda races, and then building boats and being involved with deliveries to and from the Annapolis show and up and down the coast and to customers and to sales events that we host and all that. That has helped me remain a credible voice, and I think people trust in that. Even if I don't have the answer to a specific question immediately, I know where to get the answer and I get back to them. So
right.
But that is a little bit of an obstacle. I need everybody in this business needs to know that somebody calling them on a boat already knows mostly what they need to know about it.
That's an interesting take. I haven't heard that perspective yet, and It makes sense. Everybody has all this information at their fingertips, and like you said, you're dealing with multiple brands as far as new ones, and then you're also dealing with all of your used fleet as well. So there's no way you could have all of the information stored up in your head and ready to go. I mean, unless you're some kind of a savant, but no, that's an interesting perspective on that. Okay, so I always ask some fun questions at the end here before I let people go. And it's kind of a two-part. You can answer one or the other or both. It's up to you. What is your favorite location to sail to that in your experience, or is there a vessel that you have that kind of stays in your mind and in your heart that you really love, or for, whether that's because of the vessel itself and the type of vessel it is, or it holds a certain bit of a personal memory for you, anything like that? Yeah, so I'll let you kind of answer that, like favorite location or favorite boat, or both.
Well, both are great questions, and I will tell you, having grown up there, I'm really in love with Westport, Massachusetts. Don't let that get out, by the way. It's a beautiful community. It's really special. It's got fresh water, it's got salt water, it's got the estuary of the Westport River, it's got the ocean right there. And it's a little off the beaten track. It is a challenge for boaters. It's a high current, and some sandbars and stuff like that, but well marked, and you can cruise it. Anyway, so that would be my favorite location for sure. And I've been to the Caribbean and elsewhere. Those are unbeatable, for all of the reasons that they are so well known. And from a boat standpoint, I've sailed some fabulous boats, and I've driven some really wonderful power boats. It'd be hard for me to pinpoint one, but what I sometimes do is revert back to the fact that I build boats still in my basement. And so I tell people that I'm in the category of boat owners that if I can't carry it, I don't want it. So if I can't carry it, I don't want it. So it's not really true, but it gets a laugh, and it's a little bit true. So kayaks, canoes, paddleboards, rowing shells, all of that is great fun for me, and it's a great release for me. And truthfully, because I sell these things, I have pretty good access to the bigger boat fleets. So, I don't need to own that necessarily at this time.
Right. Okay, Mark, it's been really good chatting with you. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today, and sharing your insights and perspectives and your experiences and all of that. Is there anything that you, or anywhere you want to send people to outside of the CapeYachts.com? Let me just make sure. CapeYachts.com is the website for the brokerage. Is there any other social media channels where you want people to go, or can they find everything just through that website?
Well, I would reiterate the boatyard at southwharf.com. The boatyard is a fabulous place, and full of really great people working here. So bring your boat, bring your services needs if you need it, or just come and spend time in our docks and get used to the lovely harbor of Paden, which by itself won Best Harbor Awards through the U.S. Boats and Harbors magazine. So, and several times too, not just once. So cool. South Dartmouth is a great destination.
Awesome. Again, Mark, thanks again for joining me here, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
All right, take care.
Thanks for sailing with us. This has been Portside Perspectives.